Okay. We're recording.
We are.
We're recording. Okay, here we are. Here's our update.
Hey, this is Christina and Bill from Sovereignty Lab.
Yeah, we were just making notes on what we're going to talk about.
And, okay.
No, she's waiting for me to lead.
Oh, he's the man.
Okay, great. We just finished the greenhouse. We'd been working on that for several months, and it just takes me a while. Like I'm not the mechanical guy, so cutting things straight and to the right length, I'm not your guy. But I got it done.
But he's great with bodies. Just
getting rid of pain. Let's phrase it that way. Phrasing. So yeah, the greenhouse got done, and now we're in the process of getting our seeds organized for the year. What we're going to plant. That heat in the greenhouse is going to help a whole lot.
It's significant, like how much more heat that generates. You know, that enclosure generates. It was pretty amazing. It was kind of cool outside the day that we put it up and got it enclosed, and yeah, it was like, wow, this is really going to help.
Yeah. Let's see, what else
we've had a problem with
rats
this year, like in the chicken coops, and they've also started messing with the rabbits. And in fact, you want to share that story?
Yeah.
It's kind of bad.
Yeah, so we
had
we had a litter of rabbits, and they were kind of a surprise litter. We didn't think the doe was pregnant, and she had a litter in the box. Everything went great. It was kind of out of the blue. And then
kids were all healthy.
Yeah. Checked the next day, and all the babies were gone.
And it wasn't that the mom had eaten them. Like it wasn't one of those situations.
It was the rats did. So anyways.
And we knew this because we saw blood on the J feeder. They had gotten in through the J feeder.
Anyways.
And it was, yeah.
Yeah, so that was, fun on the homestead. So we have that. So we did some research on a way to get rid of rats without using poison or traps or stuff where the other animals would be affected by it, including wildlife, and found out that you can use rats apparently can't fart
or
burp, right? So if they get gas trapped, they'll die. They're like hippogators. Anyways, so you apparently mix like muffin mix, like Jiffy. Was it Jiffy?
Yeah, like cornbread mix. Like
yeah, like nasty. The stuff that they sell at the grocery store that a lot of people eat. And you mix it with baking soda.
50-50.
50-50 mixture with baking soda. And then the rats eat it. And then they die of indigestion. Anyhow, it's like, okay, we're controlling the rats kind of deal, but it was just a surprise that this is the stuff that everybody eats, and it's in the ingredients for rat poison. Anyways, so there's that.
I mean, technically, fluoride was initially marketed as a rat poisoning, and they convinced everybody that it made teeth strong.
It's great it
needs to go into the toothpaste and the drinking water. So,
but that's another
stranger
topic.
Things have happened.
Another topic for another day. Let's see. The mushroom logs. So the neighbor was taking down a huge white oak tree, and so I got him to set aside a bunch of the wood, and I've been moving it over here and stacking it on pallets, and we started yesterday inoculating mushroom logs with shiitake, and we're going to get to lion's mane here shortly. But that's kind of exciting because, you inoculate a log, spend a little bit of time inoculating a log, and it produces mushrooms for years, which is kind of cool, high leverage stuff. But we've got logs all over the property. Yeah, she's not like a rat. I try. I tried giving you baking soda. What? Anyways, so yeah, the mushroom logs, they do real well around here. We got hundreds of logs. So we go through walks throughout the yard and we end up with baskets of mushrooms, which is kind of cool. Let's see what else. We got bees. The bees, both of the hives made it through the year. So it's going to be
winter.
Through the winter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be lucky if I make it through the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But so that was good. And I've been feeding them because I guess this time of the year is when it can get a little iffy that they have enough food or not. So been doing that and got all the stuff prepared for this year as far as hives go. And one of the things we found out was regarding the radiation piece, that one of the things that these mites that get into hives and kill the hives, or actually weaken the immunity of the hive and causes the hive to collapse or die, is they're attributing it to radiation from all sorts of stuff.
Like cell phone antenna,
Yeah.
Wi-Fi. I mean, we've known for a long time that, of the harmful effects of the radiation on humans, and, but it wasn't really, nobody really thought about it with the bees. And so to find this out, that it was actually like weakening the bees to the point that they became susceptible to varroa mite infections, in otherwise healthy colonies, was kind of a big thing. So one of the remediations that we found was to mix shungite powder, pulverized shungite, which is a rock that came from a meteor that landed in Russia. And it has been shown to be very helpful in blocking EMF radiation. So the solution, and they've a bunch of beekeepers have found that this has been real helpful, is to mix a certain proportion in paint and then to paint the outside of the box as the beehives. And that gives them some degree of protection from the radiation. Not quite creating a Faraday cage, but kind of, sort of. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks, is painting the hives.
So the shungite powder arrived yesterday, and we'll get that mixed up and paint the hives as we get into the spring.
Speaking of painting, we we designed a new sign.
What do you mean we?
I designed a new sign, actually.
Yeah. You don't want me to design anything.
Well, you gave input and feedback.
Input is different than designing.
I've been hacking my way through trying to design for a long time, and sometimes that little bit of input makes a huge difference.
Well,
so
anyway,
we combined the Knee Pain Guru, which is Bill's online day job, and his expertise, sign with this new Sovereignty Lab logo that was designed. I designed it.
She designed it.
And so we made a dual sign. So that's I painted the outside of the structure that's there already, and then the new sign is here, and that'll get installed in the next few days as soon as it stops raining. So that's really exciting too.
Yeah, you
that'll be up.
Painted the frame of it
because it was light color, but the background of the new sign is light, and so we decided to go with the dark blue on the outside, so it'll stand out better. And
that'll be up on Old Mars Hill Highway. So that'll be good.
Yeah, we'll post pictures of that when it's done.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we did the sign. Oh yeah.
We needed some room in the freezer. We'd bought half a hog last spring, and with it all the organs and all the lard came, and then the good stuff. And then a lady was getting rid of a bunch of lard here recently that Bill came across, and so he brought a whole bunch more. So then we had a lot of lard, like probably 15, 20 pounds of lard.
It was quite a bit.
It was a lot, like bigger, more like a shopping bag and a half full. It was a lot. So we spent a day rendering lard. And
rendering and canning lard.
Yes.
So the lard, you have to run it through a meat grinder to make it easier to cook down. And then in the lard are bits of meat that then cook down. And so you separate the lard, which is the fat, which then got canned, and then the leftover pieces, when they cook down, is known as cracklings, which are pretty tasty and go into anything you want.
Think like bacon bits. But,
yeah, bacon
but
bits.
crunchier. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and tastier. So
yeah, so we've had some really...
Yeah, so we rendered lard. We got how many quarts? 9 quarts.
Oh wow.
Of lard plus another gallon of cracklings.
Mm-hmm. So
that Jamie will he's gonna get some.
He will love that.
Yes.
Absolutely love that. Well,
Let's see.
You want to talk about this first? Or
No,
that
probably that.
Okay.
So there was a friend of ours, Bobby Schwartz, in Greenville, South Carolina, had a Systema Seminar this past
weekend.
Yeah, down in Greenville, South Carolina, and there was a couple hundred people there, and Vladimir was there. Yeah, you got a Systema shirt.
Well, so do you.
And it was just a great seminar. There's some people I hadn't seen in over a decade, catching up and joking around and eating together and sharing meals and sharing training, and it was just really good time. Christina got to meet a few people
that he talks about all the time.
Yeah.
So
it was strange to have a whole gym full of people that think like I do. Not exactly, but
it's kind of scary, but
the humor part. Maybe not all of them. Anyhow, but it was good. It was good. So that's been fun, and there were some really key pieces that I got out of this weekend that are directly translating into knee pain guru and clients that I'm working with in person, as far as posture and movement and breathing and lightness, and it's just been really good. Blind spots that I didn't even know I had as far as structure goes, and calming the neurology down into a really good place. So that was really happy about that, really pleased, and seeing the glitchy parts that I feel in my body as a result of the follow-on from the seminar. So yeah, that's been good. So
there's one of the cases that I've been working with had a gentleman had eczema on the palm of his hands that when we traced it back, and he was well aware of this.
Well, they were cracking and bleeding.
Yes.
Like severe issues.
And he was having to put lotion on his hands several times a day just to make it through the day. You know, it inhibited anything that he did physically, you know, and he's very physically active.
Trained Systema.
And, you know, it was a problem. It was problematic. So we traced it back to an emotional situation that happened for him, you know, at the onset of it 5 years ago. And when we were able to do that, you know, I was able to put a remedy together for him and cleared one of the drugs that they had given him for the eczema, and the eczema started improving greatly. Well, then he injured his shoulder, and the eczema was like, I don't know, like all but 30% gone. It was amazing, like how much better it had gotten. And he injures his shoulder. They give him a steroid shot in the shoulder, and the eczema came back. Like it came back to like 50-60%. And he was like, oh my God, I don't know what happened. And I'm like, well, you know, tell me the treatments you went through. And he told me. And when I heard about the steroid shot, I'm like, well, there you go. So then we started clearing that again, and his hands look great, and he's doing really good. He's super, super happy because, you know, this was a real issue for him.
So the fact of the eczema clearing is great, but the real point of the story is the side effects of drugs.
Mm-hmm. And this, I want to tie this into another story.
You have another story?
Yeah.
Really?
I've got a few, maybe.
Wow. Okay, go ahead. I'll listen.
A woman in her 70s who was otherwise really healthy. Her hair had started falling out. And she also had some other issues like asthma that had kicked in, and she'd had reflux and was having to take medicine for both of those things. The hair just suddenly started falling out in January. And I feel like there was one other symptom. I was hoping that would come to me. Well, I started treating her. I'm sorry. I gave her a remedy. I chose a remedy that was matching what she was dealing with. And her hair stopped falling out. And she was doing great. And she was able to also discontinue the proton pump inhibitors for the acid reflux. And she wasn't having any problems. Everything was great for 2 solid months. Then suddenly her hair didn't stop falling out, but she started getting hot flashes again, which those had also gone away. That was the other thing I forgot. Her hot flashes started coming back. The acid reflux started coming back. Her legs got really painful.
Did she start taking drugs again?
Nope.
Or no, she didn't. So
no.
Okay.
This is the other part of why drugs are bad, kids. Her legs got really painful to the point where she was having to take Tylenol for them. So from the knees down, they were like throbbing and aching, almost cramping. So I'm like, okay, I'm pretty positive that this is not anything that I did, was giving her. Because homeopathy doesn't work like that. Like, homeopathy has a healing effect. Sometimes it can cause a mild aggravation of your symptoms as it's bringing old things back. They come up, they get better, it clears out, they don't come back. That's a well-known, phenomenon in homeopathic treatment. But what we did was go back and look at what she was still taking. And one of the things she was still taking was a cholesterol drug. And I had mentioned this to her when she first started. I'm like, these really aren't very good. She was so worried about her hair, she wasn't focused on that. Well, I was like, okay, what's the most recent thing that happened? The legs. Let's go look up the legs. I look up the legs and look up as a side effect of the drug, and sure enough, it says that leg pain and cramping, if that happens and you're on this drug, tell your doctor immediately. Okay, so then I'm like, let's look up the indigestion or the acid reflux. And there it was as a side effect of the same drug. I was like, let's go look up the asthma. There it is. Again, side effect of the drug. And so was the hair fall. So I gave her instructions on how to talk to her doctor and to tell him, what we had discovered. And she did. And he was like, you need to stop that immediately. And this was a cholesterol medication that, people think is just normal. Like, oh, let me just take this and put down the cholesterol. But it has some really bad side effects. I've even had a client that got homicidal from being on cholesterol medication before and tried to shoot his wife, like with a shotgun.
She tried to shoot?
He tried to shoot his wife.
Oh.
This was like 10 years ago. It was,
wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a question for you. So we have people out there that are like, okay, I don't want to do Western medical stuff. And they have the issues that they're trying to address and side effects from those drugs. And then you got homeopathy over on this other side that it will not necessarily have side effects, but it'll be pushing things out that'll go through old things.
Yeah.
How does a person, and I'm looking at it from you out there looking at what we're talking about, how does one make the distinction between side effects getting better or worse, the body healing, going through the healing process, or they're taking a medication that the stacking of side effects are because of all of the drugs that they're taking? Do you see it's like this big conglomeration of how does a person who wants to do a more natural approach, holistic approach, homeopathy, herbs, whatever. How do they sort through that?
So the average person by the age of 50 is on 5 different prescribed medications.
You better hurry up.
I know, got a year now. Well, a year and a couple of months.
That's right.
Not on anything.
You got to catch up to the average.
And so that's one data point. Every drug has side effects. In a moderate sized dose, which is the dosing that all conventional drugs are at, they all cause side effects. When they turn off symptoms, so in fact, we can even go a little bit further on that. The turning off of a symptom is only an action of the drug. And then all the other side effects are also actions of the drug. But because they're not the desired action, they're just kind of put into this category of side effects to marginalize them, if you will. So that we kind of have this suspension of disbelief, like, oh, I'm taking this poison and I'm going to get high blood pressure from it and I could have a stroke and I may get a brain infection, but oh, the eczema goes away, the psoriatics, the arthritis gets better, whatever it is. The listening to those commercials is just kind of disgusting. It is safe to say across the board that any drug that you are on is going to give you some level of side effects. And it is also safe to say that if you have found yourself having started a drug and then eventually getting to another drug and another drug and another drug that you're being prescribed, that you're being treated for side effects from the first drug and then the second and third.
And this is something we did in Knee Club. We had one of the members was on several drugs. So it was like, okay, what I want you to do is not only, we know what the drug is being addressed for, pain or whatever she was dealing with, but I want you to list and look into all the side effects so we can get more of a landscape of what we're dealing with. Because if you're trying to prescribe something for a side effect from what the drug is doing, then it's like a dog chasing its tail. It's not necessarily
and I feel I had a lot of training in looking at causes and side effects, obstacles to cure and side effects of medications, and did a lot of research, and so I have a lot of experience in even how to find those, because sometimes it's not that easy and you kind of have to trick the system because they don't want you to discover all that and discover all the forums where people are, complaining or, listing and talking about what's actually happening with the medication, especially after they've been on it long term. You can even get side effects from taking a drug, one dose of a drug.
Yeah.
And the side effects may not even go away for years.
So I'm curious if we answered all of that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's not...
I want to bring it back to trying to go on a more natural approach.
Well, yes, but I'd like people to leave questions below.
That's a great idea.
You have questions about what you're dealing with or what you're struggling with, wanting to go a more natural approach, what is your hesitation in that direction? I know you got doctors and physical therapists, and they got the letters after their name and the diplomas on the wall and things like that, which is great. They have their place, but in terms of trusting yourself in pursuing a more natural approach, where's the sticking points for you?
Yeah.
So that'd be good to leave in comments below. But
and I just want to say too that you need to go with doctors' suggestions on how to get off any medication. Don't ever try to do that unaided, because and this is not just a disclaimer for working for the work I do, but it is also that some drugs you really have to taper off and wean off, and they can cause a big pushback, especially SSRIs and anti-anxiety medications, and certain other prednisone. If you just stop them, you can make yourself really sick in a really bad way. So it's always good to work with a doctor to get off medications and do that under supervision, and then from there,
use the doctor as a professional on your team. Build a team of people, because it isn't like the doctors are bad. Maybe
No.
some. Maybe some.
There's inherent flaws in the way the medical system is set up and the way they're being trained right now that lead them into a position where they don't have the tools, they don't have the education, the understanding, the knowledge, or even
the time
or even the ability to critically think that anything that they're not being taught could be true. And it's a real shame.
Or could not be true. Is it? Yeah.
It's a real anything outside of their scope. So it's a real shame that's kind of being, I want to say, inbred into the system when it could be so different and such a more
comprehensive.
And there was another word I'm looking for, but comprehensive works for now.
Well, I think they forget about the person in the process.
It is.
They're not looking at, how this person feels. Like people with going through physical therapy. I've had people that it's like get done with surgery and they got to go to physical therapy, and the physical therapy is so painful, they got to take prescription drugs in order to get through the physical therapy without ever anyone taking a pause and going, maybe this person needs something else that we don't offer.
Right.
And that pushing through the pain doesn't necessarily get you out of pain. So, there's that recognizing the forest from the trees in the process, and you're the only one that can step up and begin to take ownership of that process.
Yeah, and with all the specializations, your cardiovascular doctor who's got you on the blood pressure medicine may not realize that, has also put you on, whoever's put you on a stroke, sorry, let me try this again. Words. They escape me sometime. I'm going to go actually with this one. Your gynecologist for a woman who's put you on a hormone replacement drug may not realize that it's causing your blood pressure to go up, which your cardiologist sees, and starts giving you a blood pressure medication. But, then suddenly you have a stroke, and now, you're working with all kinds of different drugs and doctors. And anyway, there's cascades and cascades of side effects, and, it's an avalanche. It really is. And there's a lot of different solutions.
Yeah, having that communication between these disparate modalities and areas of expertise.
And homeopathy doesn't have all the answers, but I think the message that I want to leave you guys with is that there are always other solutions other than, what you think that you've been backed into a corner with. So just keep that in mind, keep that, keep open to that, and things might present themselves to you differently.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you guys.
I think we're good for today.
Yeah.
You've talked almost a half an hour.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
You guys, it was good talking with you, and leave us comments.
If you have any comments on the approach to natural stuff, leave those below. Like and subscribe to the channel. And more information can be gotten at sovereigntylab.com. We'll leave that all in the description.
Okay.
Have a good one.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.